So when most people think about Vietnam, they only think about the northern city of Hanoi and also the south here in Ho Chi Minh City. However, many factories should not open in the main city because of limited space, public infrastructure, high cost of living, 1,000 or 2,000 of this one item, not enough staff for the factories to open, the people who can and will work for the factories, and other tax incentives that may not be conducive to open in the city. Work with the local government. So today I'm just going to have a leisure walk through the city of Ho Chi Minh here in the south and then let you know where you should open up your factory. They have their different competitive advantages. What industries may be conducive to the various cities around here, especially in high tech, and also where you'll be able to find your cost of labor and other resources. A lot of workers that will be able to work for your factory. So let's get started. So hello, my name is Ken Duong, U.S. international business attorney with over 15 years of experience, specifically helping factories abroad come into Vietnam to set up, to open their factories, to hire staff, employment laws, and understanding the tax structure in order to be successful here in Vietnam. So we're right here in the center of the bustling city of Ho Chi Minh, where it's high energy, fast pace, about 10 million plus people that live here. But let's not forget about the southern cities to the south of Ho Chi Minh City that provide many opportunities, many industrial parks, and a lot of workers that will be able to work for your factories. So let's explore the south of Ho Chi Minh City. So we will explore Vietnam in general. It's broken down into three regions: the north, the central, and the south. And here in the south, it's broken down into southeast and southwest, which is also known as the Mekong River Delta. In the southeast, you have provinces such as Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu, Bình Phước, Binh Duong, Đồng Nai, Ho Chi Minh City, of course, Tây Ninh, and also Thủ Đức City. And in the southwest or Mekong Delta, there are many, many provinces, and you can see right here on the list of all those provinces that make up the Mekong Delta. So for each of the provinces in the south, they have their different competitive advantages based on raw materials, workforce, infrastructure, and the closeness to various different airports or transportation. So for example, in Binh Duong province, you will have manufacturing in electronics and equipment. You also have high-tech manufacturing, technology-based. Also, you will have heavy industries as well. And in some areas, you will look at furniture, hardwood, and textile. So Binh Duong is quite diverse because of Baycamex and VSIP. The second province that you want to look at is Long An. Long An is a little bit lower type of manufacturing, such as textile and garment. Also, it's labor intensive because there's a plethora of workforce. You have electronics and equipment as well, and other areas that have a lot of labor needs. If you look at a very close city to Ho Chi Minh or the province is Đồng Nai province. It's just by a bridge that you will get over to Đồng Nai, and Đồng Nai is also quite diverse in their various industrial parks and their specialties. You will have a textile and garment, you will have electrical and also electronics as well. But Đồng Nai also has high-tech manufacturing, and also if you look at some of the car manufacturers or the parts and assembly, they're also strong as well in Đồng Nai, including some of the food processing as well. And then finally, you can look at the south, which is Cần Thơ, one of the up-and-coming cities of Vietnam. It is very strong in seafood and agricultural processing because of Mekong Delta. Also, it's labor intensive, so you can have textile and garments and also electronics and equipment as well. But you definitely are going to go to Cần Thơ if you are a food processor that is looking to export outside of Vietnam. And of course, I have to also mention Ho Chi Minh City here in the south. However, due to the changes in the boundaries in the last few years, especially when Ho Chi Minh City allowed for the splitting of District 2, 9, and Thủ Đức districts into Thủ Đức City. And they moved manufacturing out there, the infrastructure as well, and also the ports. So Cát Lái and Cái Mép ports used to be a part of Ho Chi Minh City. Now it's considered Thủ Đức City. Also, the public infrastructure that is built around Ho Chi Minh City, which is called the Ring Road 1, Ring Road 2, and Ring Road 3, the purpose is to bring the traffic, the containers outside, and they don't have to go through Ho Chi Minh City, which is a lot of traffic. Thus, the real advantage of Ho Chi Minh City for factories are if you're doing high technology at VSIP or the Saigon High Tech Park, you have the labor, the high skilled labor and engineers. Also, you have to work with the People's Committee to get your permits approved for these larger projects. And also, you will have your sales office, your research and development, and your front-facing offices in Ho Chi Minh. Nevertheless, your factories will be outside of Ho Chi Minh in these other cities that we talked about in the Mekong Delta, also the surrounding areas such as Binh Duong, Long An, and those other cities. Thus, your main office will be open in Ho Chi Minh, but your factories will be outside of Ho Chi Minh City. So for manufacturing, Vietnam has 7 extremely competitive industries that it's been dominating or in the top 5 all over the world for the last 40 years. We want to explore the first one, which is textile and garment manufacturing. Vietnam is very strong in this area due to the low cost of labor, the skilled labor, meticulous detail, and also the delivery of the products and infrastructure. And as infrastructure gets better regarding airports, roads, and shipping, and the cost of them in logistics, it makes Vietnam even stronger in textile and garment manufacturing. So if you are looking to design clothing for the US market or Europe, such as just t-shirts but really cool design, and you want to sell at a premium, or you want to manufacture in mass, Vietnam can definitely do that for you. So if you look at it, Nike has 155 factories that they are working with right now in order to manufacture their shoes and also their apparel and other garments as well. Of course, North Face, Puma, Adidas, and many of these other international brands are manufacturing in Vietnam right now. The second industry that you want to look in Vietnam is the electrical or electronics devices manufacturing. But these are mostly dealing with accessories such as earpieces or phone covers or other small pieces of electronics. Here in the south in Vietnam, especially in Binh Duong, in Long An and Dong Nai, there are many manufacturers and also components, supply chain that you would need in order to create your electronics or your particular low technology type of electronics and equipment and devices that you would need. For example, Vietnam has one of the top exporters of electronics, but it can also do the high tech as well. Intel is in Vietnam and it's the largest employer in Vietnam. It is based in Saigon High Tech Park, which is in Thủ Đức City. Moreover, Samsung has most of their large factories in the north. However, there are certain components that are manufactured in Dong Nai and Ho Chi Minh City and Thủ Đức City as well. The third area that is very competitive in Vietnam is automotive and auto parts manufacturing. Although Thailand still is the power player in the region with many of the large companies, car companies manufacturing there. Nevertheless, Vietnam is becoming a bigger and bigger player in auto parts manufacturing, especially having Mitsubishi Motors Vietnam in Binh Duong province, and also Suzuki has its manufacturing base here in Biên Hòa or Dong Nai province. And of course, with the increase of cars being used in Vietnam, much of the assembly and the manufacturing coming to Vietnam and selling to the Vietnamese market, I can only see automotive skills, especially in high tech, increasing in Vietnam with the years to come. So if you're looking to bring your supply chain to Vietnam, definitely look at the automotive in Binh Duong province or in Dong Nai province. The fourth area that Vietnam is extremely strong in for many years is food processing. Anywhere from creating drinks to seafood to agricultural products such as rice or different grains, wheats, fruits, both dried, air-dried, and also fresh fruits as well. So Vietnam is extremely strong, and that's mostly contained here in the south because the raw materials are here. The Mekong Delta exports the most shrimp, crab, and fish in all of Vietnam to many parts of the world, and also is the top 3 exporting around the world. So the food processors are extremely strong, so you want to look at food processing here in the south based on where your raw materials are. And there's a coming trend for food processing, which is called a cloud kitchen or a central kitchen. Many of the big brands that have over 100 outlets will outsource to this central kitchen, usually located in industrial parks such as District 9, or which is Thu Duc City now, and they will do 1,000 or 2,000 of this one item delivered to all the outlets. And that is a central kitchen. So if you're looking to build central kitchen to support these food processing industries, that might be a very good time and a good area to develop in Vietnam as well. The 5th area or industry that Vietnam is very competitive in is in the plastics and rubber products manufacturing to complete finished goods such as gloves, tires, eco-packaging, industrial components, and also some of the packaging in the consumer goods. So if you're looking to bring that particular manufacturing in Vietnam, here in the south, the raw materials are in Binh Duong or the surrounding areas, and especially in the climate where you can grow the rubber trees in order to make the plastics or rubber-based products. The 6th area that Vietnam is very competitive for manufacturing and also a growing industry for Vietnam are pharmaceutical and medical device manufacturing. So Vietnam has a strong labor force, a strong healthcare sector, and also technology based on health that will continue to grow as Vietnam continues to grow as a middle income country. So if you're doing pharmaceuticals, there are a few really good examples, such as Tropical Joint Stock Company that is exporting to Russia and other parts of the world. There's a MX Pharmaceutical as well. And of course, there are international companies that are here in Vietnam that are manufacturing or private labeling or outsourcing their particular products in the market, such as Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and some of the other vaccination companies that you may have seen during the area. The 7th area that Vietnam is going to become more competitive is in the renewable energy equipment manufacturing. As of right now, China is still the #1 player in manufacturing of these particular solar panels, solar or wind turbines, hydro turbines, and other renewable energy related equipment. And currently the structure is between foreign companies and Vietnamese companies or Vietnamese funds that are investing into the hundreds of millions or billion-dollar projects. But the companies that are already existing in Vietnam are actually joint ventures between foreign companies and Vietnamese companies as well, such as the Long An Wind Energy Company, the Solar Power Vietnam Technology Company, and of course a really big player is First Solar from the United States. With more and more projects that are in the hundreds of millions and billions, Vietnam will continue to have more advantages in know-how, in manufacturing of these particular renewable energy equipment. But as of right now, they still buy from China because China's manufacturing is 10 or 20 years ahead of Vietnam, and they manufacture in large scales and they deploy as well. But Vietnam will continue to be competitive and grow in this area. So if you're in the renewable energy equipment manufacturing, then you should definitely look at Vietnam here in the south to start up your factory. Now that we provided you information about which location to invest in, which industrial parks and which industries are very competitive in Vietnam, I just want to share with you my opinion. After 15 years of helping foreign companies come into Vietnam, probably over 70 to 80 companies individually, and then as a firm as well, we've helped over hundreds of companies. So if you look at Vietnam's growth trajectory, due to the population, there's 100 million people in Vietnam, and the workforce is over 70 million people. Many live in the countryside. There are a large educated population, but there's also a proportional size of the people who can and will work for the factories. And Vietnam has increase in their GDP per capita, also in the wages, and also the desire to develop and live in Vietnam. And some of these industrial parks created social housing, which allows for their families to actually buy an apartment near the factory where they live. Also, if the non-working spouse can also open up a business. So you see some of those examples of social housing for factory workers, and Binh Duong has a really good example of that. Da Nang also has a project as well. So you want to definitely look into that when you are investing in a factory. Other reasons why I think Vietnam will be poised to be the manufacturing hub of the world in the next 10 to 20 years is due to the U.S.-China trade war, right? We are helping many companies in various industries look at a second manufacturing base or even move their entire manufacturing base from China to Vietnam due to the CHIP Act, due to many of the regulations that U.S. companies have against state-owned enterprises in China or working with China. Therefore, I think now is the right time to position your company or your factories to look at Vietnam as a place to invest. Due to the amount of relocations to Vietnam of factories, we came up with a 3-step package to help you find and locate or relocate your factory to Vietnam. Step 1 is we help you with the research on location, resources, and where to look at your industrial park. 2 is we actually do an exploratory trip for you. We'll set up the trip, identify 3 industrial parks, work with the local government and also the industrial zone so that you can meet them and meet our team here in Vietnam and also understand the Vietnam market in general. And then the 3rd step is after you identify the industrial park, we will help you with the legal entity setup, the contracts, the lease, and the legal structure that you would need to be fully operational in Vietnam. That is our relocation package, and we've helped hundreds of companies come into Vietnam, and we'll be happy to help you as well. In order to be successful in these relocation package, then you would need to have a law firm, an accounting firm, a strong bank. Also, the real estate brokerage or industrial park team will also need help as well. And we manage all of those relationships in order to successfully bring you into Vietnam as a factory. And of course, finally, before you even come into Vietnam, right now, as of August 15th, Vietnam will have its 90-day visa that will be able to come in Vietnam, including the United States, many European countries, and of course, all of Southeast Asia. Make sure you contact our team of legal, accounting, and real estate experts to help you relocate your factory to Vietnam. So what do you think about this video? And as you know, at Duong Global, we're extremely passionate about foreign direct investment of factories into Vietnam. So we want to make sure that we give you more videos and more details specific to different regions, areas, and industries that will help you become successful. But as always, thank you very much for watching this video. My name is Ken Duong, but make sure that you like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment below about your factory experience, and click on the bell for notifications. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.